Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about the whole Caresha Please podcast and Caresha speaks on Caresha Please and that whole mess. Well, her talking about obviously JT and the City Girls breaking up and also her relationship with Diddy. I want to start off with the JT portion because that's the portion that annoyed me the most. The City Girls dropped a little mini documentary on YouTube, like when they first came out, like detailing how they got discovered. And, it was like a little mini countdown. Not like countdown, but like shows the like days and hours leading up to JT surrendering herself and going into jail. And in that documentary, I don't remember everything because I watched it years ago. But one thing that I always remembered about that documentary was that Caresha didn't want to be a rapper. She never wanted to be a rapper. That was never her dream. JT always wanted to be a rapper. And, she was like, hey, they were friends. They were cool. She was like, hey, I want you to like come be part of this rap group with me. Like, let's go do this. Let's go get famous. Let's go get this money. Right? And it obviously worked for them. They blew up. They got signed to QC. And I just feel like that is a very important piece of this when we talk about JT and Caresha is that Young Miami would still be in Miami, not doing nothing. I'm not saying not doing nothing because who knows what she would have became, but she wouldn't be a half of City Girls. She wouldn't be a rapper. She wouldn't be where she's at today if it wasn't for JT coming and being like, hey girl, I have this dream of being a rapper and I want to do it with you. Let's be a group. Let's get this done. You know? So that's main point number one that I want to make because that is very important. Now, when JT went to jail, that's when the City Girls really was blowing up when they had the Drake feature. Well, it was featured on Drake's song, even though it was a small part, but still, for anybody to be featured on someone like Drake's song, that is a big deal, and that's when people first starting to hear their names. Like, I definitely knew about the City Girls before that Drake song. It wasn't probably long before that Drake song, but I definitely knew them before that Drake song. But it was just kind of like, like I knew who they were, but I wasn't like that invested yet. So then once the Drake song comes out, I'm paying more attention to them. As in a lot of other people probably were, or, some people that might be their first introduction to the City Girls. But anyways, JT is going to jail. The song is blowing up, and that was such a freaking big song at that time. Like, that summer, what? That was an anthem. Was it summertime when that came out? I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was summertime. But anyways, that was the anthem when that song came out. JT's in jail. And I feel like a lot of people like to bring up this narrative that like Caresha held JT down. Caresha held JT down. And I just feel like that doesn't really make sense when you really think about it. Like, I guess, yeah, she held her down, but you act like she held her down solely because of her love for JT. And that's not it. She held her down because, girl, if this group doesn't succeed, then where do you think I'm going back to? The hood of Miami. Like, I'm doing this because, and then at the same time, Caresha has a daughter. I mean, not a daughter. She has a son. The daughter comes, afterwards. She has a son. She don't want to be in the hood. She's doing all these performances, all these features, all this because, girl, oh my God, it's working out. We got to keep this going because I don't want to go back to the hood. I want to live this lifestyle. She's starting to get money. She's starting to get opportunity. She's starting to be in rooms that she was never in before. And you think you're going to get a taste of that? And just because your band member went to jail, you're just going to be like, oh, whatever. No, she's going to keep going for herself. Why wouldn't she? On top of just for selfish reasons and like getting a taste of the lifestyle and probably wanting more, they're signed to QC already. There's certain things that were already set in motion. There were some things that already been signed off on, already had obligations to like, complete. So of course you got to keep going and do these shows and everything else that kept the city girl's name still buzzing. So yes, I think some part of, Caresha held down JT when she was in jail. But I feel like the way people trying to paint it, like she was just holding her down just solely out of love for her, is very incorrect, because like she had a lot to gain from holding JT down and keeping the group going. She probably had more to gain than JT at that point, because I mean JT wasn't reaping the benefits at that point. She's behind bars. Caresha was getting the money. Caresha was able to upgrade her life. Caresha was able to have these experiences and travel and all that. And I'm pretty sure it was a lot of stress that came with it, because obviously going from being a regular person to a celebrity, and then just the stuff that comes with the lifestyle, with like always being on the road and all that. I'm pretty sure it was stressful, but there's a lot of perks that come with that too. Especially when obviously they were definitely girls that you can tell like they wanted the finer things in life. They didn't want the simple life. They wanted the cars, the clothes, the jewelry. They wanted they wanted that. So of course she's living life right now. Now, and also part of like talking about holding JT down, I mean, she got pregnant like within what, the first year or so of being famous. uh, she got pregnant. JT is still in jail. She's still out here having to tour and do these shows, but she's pregnant. So now, not only does she have one child, she has another child on the way. That's even more incentive for her to keep it going. And that's only for self. That has nothing to do with JT. Like JT said, I don't got kids. We live a totally different lifestyle. Okay? Totally different lifestyle. Caresha had all the more reason to do this stuff and make it work for herself more than it is for doing it for JT. So I just wanted to make that clear, that y'all gotta dead those narratives that Caresha was just doing all this for JT. No, most of it was most likely for herself. And then yeah, it freaking benefits JT to come home to like, okay, our name is still buzzing, our name is still relevant. Okay, so like now we could really make something work. JT finally gets out of jail. A lot of people seem to forget that JT got out of jail and had to go to a halfway house. She didn't get to get out of jail and go straight to being normal and back to life. So she gets out of jail. It's kind of like, wow, like, okay, am I like a celebrity now? But at the same time, I'm going to a halfway house, like, wow, I got this money now, but I'm still in a halfway house. Like, I'm not fully free. And I have, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, at halfway houses, they have, like, they have certain times that they need to be in by, they have curfews. So she's not fully adjusted to, for one, just being a free citizen. She's still kind of having to get back into like being free again, because jail definitely messes up your mental, you know. And then on top of it, then she has to register that like, okay, now I'm famous, and now like everything I say, everything I do, people are gonna be paying attention. People can create their own narratives. Because even when I think one time she was on live and people were saying that she like went off the camera for a second or something, and she was like, "Oh, you're snorting coke or whatever." Like, people try to start that narrative about her, and then like people was like, "Oh, I don't like her, she's mean, she's this, she's rude, she's this." So like, you're trying to just as being normal, of like being free, but then you're still not completely free. And then it's like, wait, I'm kind of like a celebrity now. Everything I do is going to be scrutinized. And Young Miami had time to adjust to that. JT didn't. And then, like, if I'm not mistaken, pretty not that long after JT getting out, her and Uzi started getting like serious, if I'm not mistaken. I am not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure they got together pretty soon. I think that's when it was like between Lil Yachty and Uzi. They both was like wanting her time, if I'm not mistaken. Like, again, don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure, but I'm not sure. um, so yeah, they got together or whatever. Eventually, not that long after that. So yeah, that's when JT was on some, we can go do these concerts, we could go in the studio. But after that, I want to go home and be with Uzi. Caresha started, you know, being with Saucy Santana on the lives, and those was going viral, and people was like, oh, we like Caresha, we like Caresha. And JT, I feel like JT is more sensitive than Young Miami. So I feel like, when people would say mean things about JT, or like just have an opinion about JT online, that she would, like, I wouldn't say the word is crash out, but she would like go at them, and she's talking her ish back. And then, you know, we have this thing where we feel like we can say whatever about celebrities, but if they say anything back, then, oh, they're not likable, they're this, they're that, they're this. And like, I understand it to a certain extent, but at the same time, like, I think it's unfair the way we expect these celebrities to not have any emotions. And like I said, I feel like JT is very sensitive. She gives off very sensitive from one sensitive person. So I feel like, she was probably clapping back, defending herself. At the same time, she's still registering that, like, she's a celebrity and you're not supposed to or can't technically do this without it looking bad on your behalf. So, people starting to be like, I don't like JT, I don't like JT, I don't like JT. So if anything, that probably pushed her more into being like, wow, y'all don't even know me. And like, y'all don't even know me. I'm still trying to get, there's so much stuff that I'm going through mentally. And then, so people were not liking her, dragging her. And everybody like, I like Caresha. Caresha's funny. Caresha's this. Caresha's funny. Caresha's the pretty one. That's another tea that people don't clock. That everybody thought that Caresha was the pretty one. Because obviously she's the light-skinned one. She was light-skinned. JT still didn't really fully grow into herself yet. So, Caresha's the funny one. Caresha's the likable one. Caresha and Saucy Santana and da 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 da. And Caresha already had her own motion going on. She had songs that she's featured on without JT already. Like I said, Caresha's in this world already. She's in this world. She making moves. She doing her thing. JT's still trying to come out and get her life together, get her mental together. On top of the internet is starting to tear her down and being like, we don't like you, you're rude, you're this, you're that, you're not like, well, you're, and that's why we like Young Miami, Fast forward. Oh, and also, like I said, Caresha never wanted to be a rapper. This was never her dream. And beyond just that, everybody always knew that JT's the rapper of the group. She's the one that, like, her verse is gonna hit, or she's gonna have like probably the most catchiest part of the song, or not even just that, but like JT has good delivery when she raps, and Caresha sometimes her voice can be kind of cringy, and like her delivery doesn't always hit when she raps. So I'm pretty sure all of those things have to be like making some type of jealousy or weirdness between them, like the way I feel like fans and just media can pin people against each other just naturally. If you're constantly hearing things about yourself and comparing to the person that you're with, it's natural for maybe some insecurities to arise, or like maybe jealousy. Like, those are natural human emotions that happen, and it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you nothing, out of the ordinary. We all have these natural feelings, especially when you got millions and millions or thousands of people telling you you're not likable, but she is, or you can't rap, but she can. Obviously that's that's having that ringing in your head, and who knows what people were saying behind closed doors, because that's another thing. There's a lot of times people in the actual industry pin you against each other, whether it's the managers, whether it's the stylist, whether it's the people at the record label. A lot of times they can pin you against each other or say things that get in your head also. But fast forward, they're making music. It's not doing horrible. Like, what was it, City on Lock is their second album, if I'm not mistaken. City on Lock their first album? Because were those two first things mixtapes? I'm not sure. But whatever. City on Lock came out. That's with Doja Cat and Lil Baby and all those songs. I wouldn't say it was like the biggest project, but it had enough to keep their names buzzing. Then they had the song with Moneybagg Yo that was really, 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 really big that summer. And they had Throat Baby. They were decent. Like, they wasn't like the biggest selling group, or they wasn't just like everywhere, but they was enough to keep their names in the conversation. And then boom, we see Caresha and Diddy together, and I think that really threw the whole internet into like confusion, like, because we're like, what are they doing together? Like, what's that about? I feel like we all, maybe not all, but I think a lot of us knew that Diddy is trash. But I also feel like because it gets swept under the rug so much, that, and the fact that he is a mogul and he has so many ties to so many important moments in hip hop and R&B music from the late 90s to the early 2000s, that I feel like we still viewed him at that time with respect, you know? So I feel like it was kind of like, why would Diddy want Carisha? You know, as much as Diddy's trash, and we all low key, if you at least if you're kind of in tune with like celebrity gossip, you heard some stories about him. So we all kind of knew he was trash, but at the same time, like I said, he's still a mogul. He still is tied to so many parts of the culture that you still kind of hold some type of level of respect for him. And then he is an older guy, and even beyond just older, like we said, he's a mogul. Like, he's like a top dog in the industry, so we wouldn't expect him to want someone like Carisha. On top of it, if you know Diddy, all of his girlfriends and the women that he's dated, they're like slimmer for the most part. They're models, or they look like models, and they're very more here with it. Like, they're not loud. They're not gonna be the ones twerking in the club. They're not gonna be the ones on IG twerking on IG, acting a fool. They're gonna be the ones that, like, you don't even hear them talk often. You don't even, they're just there. They're very pretty and they're they're not out on the scene like that. So when he got with Carisha, or we didn't even know if they were together. We just was seeing that y'all posted up, are y'all together? Like, you know what I mean? And like, if y'all are, like, how, like, it really threw us through a loop. I feel like we were so confused, and we was just confused and intrigued, because it's like, what is that giving? Like, what's going on? But yeah, the more we learned about it, how she's at the award shows with the Go Poppy sign, and then she gets the podcast. He's the first guest. They're talking about it. And it's like, okay, obviously you guys are messing around, but at the same time, at the same time, he's not fully taking you serious because what he was like, you're my shawty doo wop or something like that. So okay, y'all dating, but it's not serious, but y'all dating. Okay, we all know that Diddy. I don't know if he was what, like a co-owner, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, we know Revolt was Diddy's little channel. So she's on there with a podcast. And we're like, okay, interesting. Y'all do y'all first, um, your first interview with him. Y'all talking about what's going on between y'all. Okay, cool. Carisha's talking about she wants twins. I know twins running your family. Okay, cool. And then as Gina pops out, and then we're like, okay. Then Young Miami and her is like arguing over Diddy. It's like, okay, interesting. And then, Diddy and Carisha was on live talking about it's F It Friday or whatever it was, and shot o'clock, let's take a shot, and Deleon and this, and they just became a whole thing where it was just like, okay, it's just Diddy and Carisha. It was a mess. It was definitely a mess, but they was rocking with each other, so it was just like, okay, cool. And then you go to JT's just, you know, with Uzi. And she pops out, do the little festivals that they do, did the little tour with Jack Harlow, and then she was with Uzi. She was more low key, and Carisha was getting the podcast. Then she did she was getting the merchandise. She's with Diddy, 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 and there's the drama with Diddy, like. And it was just like, it just seemed like every time you seen Carisha out and posted on Instagram, JT was never nowhere to be found. It was, you never seen them out together. Like in a chill setting. You never seen them out together. They were never together. It was always Saucy Santana. And I'm not gonna pretend like I paid attention to Carisha's other friends. I know like they got a good following too, but I don't know their names. I'm not gonna lie, I don't pay attention to them like that. But whatever, she has her group of girls that she chill with all the time, and they come with drama too. I think one of them was fighting Vaughn's sister, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, like I said, I don't pay that hard attention to her other clique, whatever. But whatever, they're chilling all the time. They're making moves. I feel like the internet was peeping that like, are y'all even friends? Y'all don't even hang out with each other. Like, it seems like y'all are never around each other. And then, like, if you started paying attention to JT, she was having her own little crew that she would hang out with. And it was just giving very much two separate, different type of people. And y'all were never together. And it was just giving weird. Like, it was just like, we thought y'all were friends. We thought y'all was like this. I feel like that's how we was introduced to y'all. That like y'all were like sisters, y'all friends, y'all this, y'all that. But then it's like y'all never together. And then, I feel like the live with Uzi and JT and Carisha, that was cringy because it was just like, okay, Uzi was talking to Carisha kind of crazy and JT was kind of just there. And it was just kind of like, okay. Interesting, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, mm, now I can't tell you exactly what came first, but this is just like a bunch of things like just happening every couple of months that people are just clocking, where it's just like, I think had a brand deal. JT finally had a brand deal with, I think, was it Kiss or something like that? I don't know. It was like hair gel or something. And she had a little brand deal with them, and it was just giving like, okay, JT, you venturing out, you doing something. And it was just giving like Carisha wouldn't like big her up. She wouldn't say congratulations. She wouldn't like promote it. And like every time Carisha would do something, JT would love it, support it, put it on her story. She'll show love and support to it. But it just came like, okay, JT came out and did something, and where are you at? Why are you not bigging up your sister? Then it started to be like where JT starting to get into beefs with Cardi B. Again, like she said on her freaking podcast, oh, you were asleep? Okay, well, you're up now, so what's up? Oh, you're jealous because I'm starting to work with Nikki? I'm starting to make something work for me. I'm starting to make something move for me, and now you're jealous? Because it's giving jealousy. Because, like, you got all these things that you're doing just for you. And also, you know what? I seen a TikTok. I'm sorry. Let me rewind a little bit back. I seen a TikTok and somebody said Caresha was the first person to have a solo song. And that's so true. And it was like something freaks, something like that. Hold on, let me look it up. It was called Rap Freaks. She had a whole video and everything. I don't remember this. It was a trash song. I don't want to get copyrighted, but. Money bag, I'm meaning yo. I got a hit song. I need a burst come through. Just Leo bitch home. Yeah. Listen, so yeah, she was the first one to have a whole solo song and had a video. Okay, so then when JT started to do her own thing and venture out, it's giving you or feeling some type of way, obviously, because if the only reason why you didn't come to her defense was because you wasn't on the song with Nicki Minaj, and like she brought up the fact that she didn't know, well, who cares if you didn't know? Because, sometimes when people work with bigger artists, you got to kind of keep it on the wraps. You got to keep it, you know, people like to leak information. Obviously, Nicki was doing that thing where she was like, she wanted it to be a surprise on who was going to be on that song. It was a whole thing where she just gave you the cities and that's it. Y'all guess who's going to be on it and cool. So who knows that if you would have told someone, then they would have told someone, they would have told someone, and it got out. Things like that happen a lot in the industry. So maybe it was kind of just like, guys, let's keep it mute. And then also, there's some people that's also, when it comes to something that you want or a blessing or a plan, people like to keep it to themselves until it happens. On top of it, obviously at that time, we all knew you guys weren't that close. You guys never chilled. You guys were never together. So maybe she didn't feel the need to come and tell you. You're doing your own thing. You got your own brands. You got your own identity. Like, out of freaking the City Girls, you have Caresha, please. Caresha Roulette. Your merchandise. You have your own brand outside of the City Girls. Why do I feel the need to have to tell you what I'm doing on my side? On top of it, it's not just like you just have your identity outside of the City Girls. It's very clear that you don't care to even keep the City Girls going. Like, obviously, you're still signed to QC. You're still in a group. So, okay, whatever. But it just gave your energy was very, like, when it comes to the City Girls. But, like, yeah, Caresha and Diddy and everything going over here. Yeah. I'll give you a little this. Caresha, Diddy, everything going over here. Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure JT was probably feeling that. I do feel like she didn't come to her defense, not just because of that, but I also feel like she didn't want to go up against Cardi because she wants to be close to Cardi. But she don't want to say that on the podcast. But I feel like that was a big reason. It was because it was Cardi on top of, girl, I don't fool with you like that. I don't even like you like that much. Like, you're my girl, but like, we don't even chill. I'm doing my own thing. You here with Nicki, but I still kind of need to keep that Cardi door open because I can still maybe get on a song with her. So yeah, I'm not beefing Cardi for you. And girl, I understand it to a certain extent because obviously, yeah, like you working with Nicki ain't really messing with me. Cardi's the other big titan in rap, in female rap. Like, I might need to keep that door open. I get that. I understand that. But that still doesn't take away from you being weird. And to kind of put this off, so to kind of tie everything together, Krish came into the industry and had time to adjust to it. JT didn't. Caresha's making her moves, finding her people, getting with Diddy, getting all these opportunities. JT was in the background, not having much going on for her. JT always rooted for Caresha. Always showed Caresha love. When JT started making moves for her, Caresha didn't show any love. Caresha didn't shout her out. And it's literally the internet coming at Caresha. Why you don't show JT no love? Why you didn't repost that? Why you didn't repost that? And Caresha would probably maybe every once in a while eventually post something, and it's giving very much dry at that. And it's giving only because the internet was on you, pressuring you, asking you, harassing you. Like, why aren't you showing her love the way she shows you love? And then, the tide started turning where people started to not like Caresha. The things with Diddy came out, and I feel like even maybe a little bit before the whole thing with Diddy came out, people started to not like Caresha a little bit. And then, JT was, grinding on her thing. She was working with Nicki. She was taking herself more serious. She was putting herself out there. We always thought that she was the better rapper. Also, like I said, Caresha was the pretty one at first. She was the light skinned one. She was the pretty one. Down nowhere, JT started feeling herself. She started, finding her sense of style. She started to, figure out what compliments her makeup wise, hair wise. She started to really grow into herself. You started to see her confidence build. And JT started becoming, oh wait, JT's mad cute. Wait, JT. She started to become the cute one. And she started to become the likable one where people started rooting for JT and like you're the underdog, and we seen that you're trying to grind and get on your ish and you're trying to be serious about your music. And I feel like people started to root for JT and people started to dislike Caresha. And then especially when the Diddy stuff really was in the heat of it, and it's kind of like Caresha wasn't saying nothing. You were quiet, quiet, and quiet. But you was just yelling Diddy 2 days ago. Now you're quiet. Weeks are going by, months are going by, you're still quiet. That's not okay. We don't like that. You gotta come explain yourself. Like, as a public, we expect you to come explain yourself. So you're quiet, not saying nothing. We don't like that. So every chance we get, we're gonna throw it in your face. This Diddy stuff, because you're not addressing it. You're not saying where you stand at it. We even seen videos of you still with him, even after the whole situation. You was on vacation with him and his family. On top of, them tweets when you was arguing with Gina. He was talking about you could have Diddy make her do some things to you. And then, when the whole allegations came out and we seen that Diddy has been accused of forcing people to do sexual acts against their will. And then you have a tweet of you arguing with one of his girls, telling that you could have Diddy make her do sexual acts to you. It gives you're tied into what Diddy's doing. Then you're not saying nothing. People was already starting to not like you and your attitude. It's not looking good for you. But JT, she's been touring. Her tour's been looking lit. Whether y'all want to say the freaking barbecue tours or whatever. The cookout or whatever, the backyard tours, whatever y'all said. Her tours looked lit. It looked lit. Each city she went to, it looked lit. It looked like a fun time. Her songs are buzzing. She don't got no top 10 songs, but those songs are buzzing and people really like them. And they don't sound like nobody else. All these girls been sounding the same. JT was having her own style and it was working for her. JT dropped her first mixtape. It did pretty well with numbers. It's not no 100,000 selling mixtape, but it sold more than any of the projects she'd had with the City Girls. And for it to be a mixtape, her first mixtape, she's the underdog. I think she did really good. It sounded really good. I did a review on it. And Caresha's trying to find her footing because people are just going to be on her neck till the end of time about Diddy. And especially because she thought this little Caresha Speaks was going to solve everything. And I feel like, if anything, it made people annoyed with you because it was like, you're talking about Diddy, but you're not really saying nothing. And you're not being truthful. It gives you still mess with him on the low. You still support him. It's just you can't do it out loud. And you're talking about JT, and there's a lot of stuff that led up to where y'all at. And I think it's not okay to sit here and try to trash JT when I feel like JT showed you love every chance she got. And even with JT, she just dropped a mini documentary about her mixtape. And even in there, she showed you mad love and grace. And it just seemed like you were more kind of just like, you wasn't fully being shady, but you was giving very much like, you didn't give JT as much grace as you could have. As much grace as you gave Diddy, JT deserved that grace, because if anybody would know that what she was going through with coming out of jail, you would know that, you know that everybody was trashing JT at first and everybody was in love with you. You knew that. You knew you was getting opportunities that JT wasn't getting. You didn't care because it was benefiting you. But now that the tide is turning and opportunities are slowing down for you, and people are becoming more and more critical of you, and people are liking JT more and praising her more and trying to uplift her more, it just you're kind of salty about that. And if that's really your sister, I feel like you would understand where she was coming from when she came from certain things. And not to say that JT never did anything shady towards Young Lamb. She's not perfect, but I think it just showed that she really genuinely loved Caresha and rooted for her. And girl, you was never there for me. You got on and you didn't look back. And now that I'm doing my own thing and it's looking good and the City Girls is no more, you don't have a chance to look back. But if you did, you probably would. And because you don't have you don't have the City Girls to lean on, it gives you're a little salty. But you don't want to show it, but you can see it. You can see you're a little salty because the way you talked on JT it was very underhanded, and the fact that you could show Diddy that much love and grace, yeah. It was very weird to watch. Yeah, I just wanted to get on here. I wanted to talk about the whole situation, just how I viewed it as a whole. A lot of stuff has happened over the years, and when you put it in perspective, it just makes you look at Caresha like, you're really weird. You really did JT wrong, you know, especially if that's supposed to be a girl that helped you get to the life that you're living, because she gave you this opportunity. She brought this opportunity to you and believed in you and supported you every step of the way. And it just seemed like you left her in the dust. But now that the dust is like settling and you're looking around and you don't even know where to go, and it seems like she knows where she's going and she has a direction and she's doing very well for herself right now. And yeah. So yeah, that was just my thoughts, and I just had to like rant about it and put it into perspective, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that people forgot about. But yeah. Thank you for watching. Let me know what's your thoughts on it. Like, do y'all think Caresha's weird, or y'all think that JT's weird, or do you think that they're both weird? Like how do you feel about the situation? Let me know down in the comments. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button and come back to my channel, and see you next time, guys. Bye. Wanna please you.